I think it's going to be a very skeptical American public about taking the vaccine, and they should be.
We can't trust the president and take his word and take a vaccine that might cause harm to us.
If and when the vaccine comes, and it's not likely to go through all the tests that needs to be and the trials that are needed to be done.
Let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us.
When we finally do, God willing, get a vaccine, who's going to take the shot? Who's going to take the shot?
We will need to have access to the vaccine results so we can make our independent assessment to make sure that Donald Trump's fingerprints are not on it.
You can be the first one to say, sign me up. They now say it's okay.
Is the vaccine safe? Frankly, I'm not going to trust the federal government's opinion. And I wouldn't recommend to New Yorkers based on the federal government's opinion.
And the question of whether it's real when it's there, that requires enormous transparency.
Would you trust that vaccine?
There's very little that we can trust that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth.
We cannot take for granted this process will be free of political influence.
You're going to say to the American people now, here's a vaccine, it was new, it was done quickly, but trust this federal administration and their health administration that it's safe?
I will say that I would not trust Donald Trump.
How confident are you in the approval process of the FDA right now?
How confident am I? I'm not that confident.
Yes, I would be hesitant, but I'm going to ask a lot of questions.
You're going to need someone other than this FDA and this CDC saying it's safe.
You've got to make all of it available to other experts across the nation so they can look and see. So there's consensus, this is a safe vaccine.
We're going to put together our own group of doctors and medical experts to review the vaccine and the efficacy and the protocol. And if they say it's safe, then I'll go to the people of New York and I will say it's safe.
But if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
Hello there, and this is a very rare interview on Chasing Dissent because usually we do these things live. But as you are watching this back right now and not able to chat in the comments, it's because we are pre-recorded because we have to fight those pesky censorship devils and make sure it goes out on friendly platforms. John there looking like you're about to melt. It's quite...
I am about to melt. I've just turned the fan off so it doesn't interfere with my audio. And yes, it's warm in here. And anyway, I'd like to say hello, Alex, and welcome.
Hello, John. Thank you. Hello, Ben.
Hello.
Thank you for inviting me on. I'm looking forward to this, actually.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've known about you on the periphery for quite some time, obviously, because we've been sitting in this space and sitting in this sphere and chatting. But your story is very interesting, and hopefully we can do it justice, but hopefully we can also bring our little humorous slant to things, as we like to try and do. But you were injured quite brutally, I would say, by the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine. So I'd rather not put words in your mouth, so just take us through what happened and how we got to where we are now.
Like everyone else, I see, letter through the post to go and get my vaccine on the 20th of March 2021. And I drove in and I was verbally told we received a sore arm and we had cold flu-like symptoms for a couple of days.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Hold on 1 second, your audio.
Sorry, that was my daughter calling.
All right.
And I went home and was back to work on the Monday as a scaffolder.
Yeah.
But by the end of the day, I was kind of back to my old self. And then on the 1st of April at work, and the irony of that is not lost on me as a scaffolder, I lifted something heavy and I thought I pulled my calf muscle.
Okay.
We do that all the time. So I went home, struggled for a couple of days, and then on the 4th of April, I collapsed at home. And I was rushed to the hospital, asked to sign a form to do a CT scan. And the CT scan was still spinning, and the same doctor standing at the side was telling me, you need to go to the theatre, you need to go now.
Okay.
And I'm like, I said to this, serious? He went, yeah, I said, how bad? He said, the worst thing. Obviously, all I could do at that point, the only thing I could think of doing is all I can ask you to do is your best. That's all I can ask.
Yeah.
I phoned my wife and my two daughters from my first marriage. I effectively said goodbye to them. And unknown to me, they were in the room, roughly 30 feet away, being told by the same doctor, they have no hope. You've never seen anything like this. If they survive, which is highly unlikely, it will be from the waist up. And I then spent 7.5 hours in surgery, having blood clots removed from my abdomen, left leg and right leg. I came round after 7.5, 8 hours, and it's the same lady. And she's trying to tell me, what's happened to me. And we don't know at this point, we just know that there's a problem. She said to me, well, you managed to clear your abdomen, your right leg, but have a concern in your left leg. That concern, like 15 minutes later, from a concern to there will be an amputation. At that point, we still didn't know what was this, what was the reason. I had no underlying health conditions ever. I asked for a week. And the hope in my head that this could possibly be a below-the-knee amputation, because it does make a massive difference in your life.
Yeah.
And they gave me the week. I now realise the hindsight and all the stuff I had these conversations with the same doctors, surgeons that saved me. They just gave me a week to dance for it. They gave me a week because I just survived 7.5 hours earlier that I wasn't supposed to survive. And at that point, there's no way I could have survived the amputation. I spent a week in isolation. And that's another story in its own right. And a week later, I was amputated. The day after I was amputated, it was mentioned at that point this was highly suspected to be caused by the AstraZeneca vaccine. Because that was the only thing in my life in the last 6 weeks that was different.
Yeah.
I left hospital 8 days later, being told I was the first in the world to survive with the level of this that I've got. And I went home, and within 2 weeks I received an email confirming that this was a condition called Vitt, VITT, vaccine-induced thrombotic thrombocytopenia. Yeah, it took me 3 weeks to learn how to say that. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Especially as a scaffolder, I've learned words that I never thought, why do I need to know that word? But that's, again, I divert away from the story. And I set out on social media because I was told that I was the first in the world to survive with it at the level I've got. We then find out that within 2 weeks there was 235 at that point. And over the last 2 years, it's now climbed to 445 in the UK. Tragically, with 81 fatalities. I was the first living man to be acknowledged by the UK government.
I was going to say, you were used as a bit of a poster child by the mainstream media, weren't you, at one point?
Yeah, what happened was I came out of the hospital 8 days later, and I'm an old mod. I've been a mod all my life. I drive the old Vespas and VP suits. And a professional photographer who had took photographs of us on a 21 years ago had kept in touch with a couple of the boys from the scene, and they had mentioned to him what's happened. And he reached out and offered to take some photographs. And that's the photograph that's in my profile picture.
Yeah.
And to see if we could get my story out to raise awareness, because all I was trying to do was find other people like me to try and get help and support.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all I wanted to do was raise awareness. Look, this can happen.
Yeah.
This has happened to me, and I've got more underlying health conditions.
And did you Did you think, while this was happening, Alex, did you have any, not concerns, but did you think maybe I shouldn't have done it, or were you quite happy to still have taken the vaccine at that point? No.
No, because, within 2 weeks, you find out that some of the stuff they tell you doesn't quite add up.
Yeah.
You're sitting there living it. You're sitting there living it versus what you are hearing being, I guess, bombarded with propaganda everywhere you turn. Even if you turned on the radio, there were those. I remember they had that woman's voice that would come through the radio going, the NHS will contact you when your vaccination is ready. Every vaccine gives us hope. Every time I turned on the radio.
It was 24/7. If we go back to January 2020 to 2021, we'd be through 2 lockdowns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We spent the first lockdown with everyone else, which was 2 months, and the whole planet. I mentioned St. Peter's Square at the Vatican purely because I've never seen it empty in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was empty.
Yeah.
Paris, Trafalgar Square, everywhere was empty.
Yeah.
And, and it was 24/7 on the radio, the TV. It was on the screens on the motorway. It was illegal, by the way, because it's only meant to be for driving purposes, and that's another story.
Right.
It was on there telling you to protect the NHS, save lives.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many dead bodies in streets.
Yeah. In China, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No underlying health conditions. At the age of 56, I was nothing up a physical state that most men at 20 would have been pressured with.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not to be arrogant, it's just that was the job I did. I had to 5 tons of steel every day without breaking sweat. So, and, I think that the lady downstairs to my mum, they lived underneath and above each other for 20 odd years. She'd fallen in the bathroom and broken her leg and went into hospital and never came out.
Yeah.
The COVID, it was put down to it.
Yeah, but was it? Because
down to, yeah.
It happens an awful. I mean, especially with elderly people, you fall, you break a hip or your leg or whatever, you end up in hospital and you never really come back from it. And that happens an awful lot, before the pandemic.
It was all out there.
Yeah.
And, we locked my mother up for that last year of her life. My mother was the most social person I've ever met. She worked in bars for 60 years. My mother stopped with 100 yards from her home and it could take her 2 hours to cross the road, go to that shop to get the newspaper, come back, because everyone. And to protect her, we locked her away for the last year of her life.
So they broke everybody, didn't they? They broke everybody.
Yeah, and it wasn't just in one place. This is a global lockstep movement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Apart from the countries that were constitutionally bound to not do it, everybody did it.
Sweden, Japan,
Taiwan. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Did you see any of that on TV? Media?
No, you didn't.
Because that would have made people go, well, they're not doing that. What's going on over there? And then if you'd looked into what was going on over there, realistically, it was nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing was going on.
Yeah, I think I'm the majority of most of the sort of ordinary people that's out there. They need to stand up to a conspiracy theory before this is what's in YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Did I believe that governments were nefarious and did corrupt things? Of course I did.
Everyone does.
But no one on this planet, and I defy anyone to tell me otherwise, thought that pharmaceutical companies, mainstream media and governments would collate together to pull that off, and they're still doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. But do you think they're doing it? Do you think the government was doing it from a position of, we're going to do evil, or do you think they actually thought they were actually doing good, but ended up doing evil by mistake?
I'm starting to struggle enough a lot of those kind of statements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2 years ago, I would have accepted that kind of statement.
Yeah.
that we're way beyond 2 years. I'm going to now get into my third year of it, and I'm still receiving absolutely no help and support from either the Scottish government or the UK government other than basic state benefits.
Because you're an inconvenient truth.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm an inconvenient loud truth. I ain't going nowhere. My mother called me the most strong, stubborn, awkward bastard she'd ever clapped eyes on. And it wasn't always said to love.
Yeah.
And I kind of take a bit of pride in the fact that, she was right.
Well, the thing is, it was specifically the AstraZeneca vaccine that did this to you. Was it your first or second dose?
One only.
One. Okay.
When you got it,
either the AstraZeneca vaccine or the Johnson & Johnson. The Johnson & Johnson was never used in the UK.
No, because
an mRNA development.
So, because both of these vaccines, the AstraZeneca and the Johnson & Johnson, used a delivery method known as viral vector instead of messenger RNA, or the spike. The delivery method through these mRNA ones. As you say, we never approved the Johnson & Johnson single-shot vaccine, which then turned out to not be a single shot anyway, but they were calling that a single-shot vaccine. But with the AstraZeneca one, what got me was the fact that it just sort of disappeared from the zeitgeist. It disappeared from the United Kingdom. They just, first of all, they banned it for the under 40s, and then they just stopped using it altogether and just hoped it would quietly fade away. And do you think that is because of
we were in France,
things that happened?
We were in France at the time, and the AstraZeneca was only used on the expats.
Yeah, it wasn't used on the French.
Here's the thing about the AstraZeneca vaccine, and this is what really gets me angry, beyond belief. We knew in January 21 that the AstraZeneca was causing clotting issues.
Yep.
We received a notification from the Denmark Health Agency stopping them of 13 to 16 cases, all fatalities, that only had AstraZeneca. That's the common, and they all passed. They're now classed as Vitt cases. The UK government sat on that till the 11th of April. The reason I know is because it was the 11th of April, it's anti-cases and it's in May. The thing that really gets me is in 20th of March, AstraZeneca quietly changed its name to Covishield or Vaxzevria.
Yeah.
They didn't change the ingredient. They didn't pull it in the UK. They won't pull it because if they pull the drug, they have to give us a reason for why it's been taken off the market.
Yeah.
So that's never going to happen. They then produced another 1.7 billion doses of this thing and sent it over to 120 poorest countries.
They heavily tried to. Well, they heavily manufactured it in India, didn't they?
This company knew in 2006 that the adrenaline vector that they were using to drive this was causing clotting issues. That is not a glib statement. I have the report.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. And, you know, I think that this is probably why. Did you ever see that famous sort of news report where Dame Sarah Gilbert stood up at Wimbledon and got the applause?
Oh, God, yeah.
She looks guilty.
Can you imagine how angry?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
We get conditions that tell us.
Yeah.
Because this condition is irreversible.
Yep.
In my condition. Now.
Do you have to take like a blood thinner just now?
Yeah, I've got to take a range of medications that I'll do for the rest of my life. If I don't, I've got about 12 days, 14 days.
It's horrendous.
Yeah. Listen, if I spend my life thinking about what could and what can go wrong, given what's went wrong, and I wrap myself in cotton wool, it'll be the first time in my life I've ever done that. I'm not going to start that now.
Look, as a disabled man who's still got all of my limbs, I spent a decade locked in my home feeling sorry for myself, and it got me absolutely nowhere. So now I just try and make light of absolutely everything, including my own situation. It's like when I used to go and live stream the protests. I used to, make it very aware of my situation. I'd ride around on a mobility scooter, just going, get out my bloody way. So stuff like that. Have a laugh. You've got to have a laugh, because if you don't, you'll just cry.
Just one thing, Alex. One thing.
Yeah, John.
Yeah, one thing. Right now, how did they get you to go on TV and promote still getting it after this had happened to you?
Let's go back to that. They didn't.
Right.
This is some kind of one of these things that's out there that nobody's ever been able to give you that. Shall we say, what did happen? That photographer that they took the photograph.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll try and get them around some independent newspapers, mainstream media. You can get you to raise awareness.
Yeah.
And the Sunday Post took it. And the story came out, and it says 1 in a million inspirational amputee urges everyone to get the vaccine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've got this Sunday Post story right here.
And you never said that?
No. There's another article by a chap called Ian Davies, an independent journalist, that posted to the UK column news. I'll send the link over when it's finished. That article was done specifically to counteract the Sunday Post, because I wasn't alone. This chap contacted me privately and said, I'm a journalist. I believe that your story and many others have been spun, because I've now spoken to at least half a dozen of you, and every one of you have had the exact same experience.
Yeah.
He did it with Gareth Green. His wife worked for the BBC. He did it to him. He did it to Scarlett Wright. He did it to myself. I'm not going to keep naming names.
Yeah, okay. No, that's good. That's good to know. That's good to know, because, hearing that from the horse's mouth, so to speak, is further proof.
We've done, and as I say, today it's probably still the most factual, accurate article out there on Vitt. That article took 9 weeks. That piece of history, research, and all the information and the data. And then they asked me to cross-reference it with my knowledge of Vitt and the numbers, which I did.
Yep.
That article stands as testament to this day, and that was specifically done to counteract that, because can you imagine the abuse that I've taken practically every day?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Over 2 years because of that article.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And at the end of the day, you are the horse's mouth, and I completely agree that people's stories were completely spun, and it was almost like they did it because they knew if they didn't do it, and this is just my personal opinion, then nothing could have been said at all. If they didn't add those caveats, say urges everybody to go and get it, they wouldn't have been allowed to report it.
Yeah, I'll never forget me looking at it and thinking, I'm insane. Why did you honestly think I would recommend anybody get anything that did this to me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, exactly. Now, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. But then here we are. I mean, all of us sitting in this position where we just want to, I guess, champion truth, autonomy, freedom, choice. And for that, we have been demonized. We have been attacked, maligned, and I'm sure, like you said, you've had it from all sides of the debate, because I've seen people call you a liar. I've seen people call you some very disgusting names, but on the extreme other side as well, I've seen them call you a grifter and say you're using this for that and the other. Yeah. It's like, it's ridiculous.
I can see he's a grifter. I mean, look at the size of that TV in the wall behind him. It's massive. That must have cost him a fortune. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's an antique.
I know. It looks that way.
I'm very keen about that. Oh my God. I think I've been called everything.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how bad the levels have got. The Rolling Stone magazine has an online follower of over 50 million.
Right.
Yeah.
And they printed a picture of me at the Truth Be Told campaign in London in January. But I was telling my kids,
yeah,
and they labelled me as anti-vax and conspiracy theory. Oh, how I laugh. How I piss myself.
How can you be an anti-vaxxer when you got this problem from the vaccine?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a mind melt, that one, isn't it? How do you get round that one?
And what conspiracy? Well, what conspiracy are you theorising on? Because you actually, everything you've told us so far has been backed up by medical evidence, has it not?
Yeah. It's the fact that I'm saying that I'm not safe and I'm not effective.
But that's been backed up by medical evidence.
Let's face it. You're against people, right, Alex, who go on the TV and go, after 2 weeks or after 3 weeks, it's 100% effective against transmissions and all of this. And it's like they can say that when it's absolutely, completely untrue and has never been true.
I'm still want to understand there's certain doctors that are continually on mainstream media. Telling things like it's 100% safe and effective.
Yep.
This is guaranteed to work. And they'll never be taken to task because they knew it was disinformation then.
Yes.
And they knew it's disinformation now.
Yeah.
But we've got doctors who are coming out and trying to do the right thing and say, this is a problem.
And they are being demonised, maligned, reported to the GMC.
But what gets me is... What gets me is...
Sorry, the rare bit. You know, and I go, okay, you want to call me rare?
Yeah.
I'm not rare. You shouldn't have a problem properly helping supporting people like me for that rare.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me, though, is the doctors, or some of the doctors that have come out against it, were actually all for it until it hit them close to home, you know? And that's not a doctor doing any research. That's them not moving until it affected them personally. And then they started digging into it, and then they've come out since. So that annoys me because they should have been on the ball from the word go.
I agree with you to a certain extent. However, I'm aware that if we take the full medical profession, there were many people be wandering about as blind as I was.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so there's a combination of that. There's a combination of some actually believed in everything that was being put out and then realised when it hit home that this was a major problem. I can forgive them to a certain extent and understand that it's not going to take what he did away, but the fact it would be big enough to go, look, I made a mistake here. I kind of can live with that to a certain extent, but what I won't live with and I won't accept is these people are now trying to reverse everything they've said.
Yeah.
I mean, some of you are being vociferous against people.
Yeah.
I mean, the rewriting of history is egregious. It is. Yeah. It is absolutely egregious what we are seeing. But I mean, you saw me. For those watching this, me and Alex were on Sonia Poulton's show, one after the other, yesterday morning at the time of recording, and the rewriting of history when it comes to all these things, and that's basically what me and Sonia were talking about, and the almost dismissal of what people have been put through, not just what you personally have been put through, but the psychological campaign on people like your mum, for example. They do want to dismiss it offhand.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in humanity is not affected by this in some way or other in a negative way.
Yeah.
You know, I've got huge respect for those that have stood their ground over the last 4 or 5 years for any of this. For whatever reason.
You're talking to two of them. We went we did everything we could as publicly as possible to sort of say, nah.
Yeah. I fully believe that. The simple reason I now know the sensitivity of silence and denying that I'm being up against. And I understand that anger of not.
Well, put it this way. I don't own my own YouTube channel anymore. I appear on John's YouTube channel because I was banned permanently for live streaming at test centers. Just live streaming. And it was called misinformation. It was called misinformation. You know, the censorship.
Misinformation by Twitter.
Yeah.
Every single post I put out for nearly a year and a half had misinformation tags upon it.
Oh, I mean, we've all lost social media. I mean, I lost social media channels. I lost Twitter. You know, I joined Twitter in 2009, and I lost that account. I mean, the whole thing's it was just a concern. And the thing is, the government, it's come out that the government colluded with social media channels and social media companies, you know, to stifle the narrative. And yet the government's still saying they didn't do it, but they did. Everybody knows they did. Say,
this will make you laugh, because after YouTube relaxed their rules, because they have relaxed a lot of their rules.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but a lot. But after they did, I said, well, can I have my channel back now? And they went, no. Hold on, we'll take a look at this. And they looked into it and they went, oh yeah, you didn't do what we said we do, but we're going to keep you banned for spam.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Some of the insanity that I've experienced over the last couple of years, even as a scaffolder, I sit and go, oh. You know,
yeah,
kid me on, you know. Don't get me wrong. People we tend to focus on all the negatives when we talk about this subject.
Yeah,
I'm not going to. Let's not kid ourselves. I'm a scaffolder. I've had a lot of laughs over the last few years because that's just the humour that I've got. You know, people try and abuse me, and I always say that. You can abuse me. I've got to do for a living 8 years a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. That's what scaffies do, isn't it? That's what life is like on site. Everybody banters. Everybody takes the piss out of one another.
And let's be honest, scaffolders don't own any. They don't have a line. There's nowhere they won't go to get you.
Yeah.
You know,
I believe
that. Over some comment that was made.
I believe that. I really do. And I can't believe that we all we do, all of us here, is we sit here and we try and have rational, evidence-based conversations. And here we try and make a laugh out of it. We try and have a laugh with it because we want to entertain people at the same time. But we're just finding it increasingly. You are probably one of the single most prominent victims of this in the United Kingdom that fortunately is still alive today, because you have, you know, people like Lisa Shaw, for example, who aren't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but you try and tell your story, and you can't. You just find yourself shut down. Tell us about James English, because you were sort of speaking to me about that. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. Now, James English is acknowledged as one of the biggest podcasters in the UK. I don't think that would be an understatement or too overstated. We managed, myself and the chap called John Work, who's my good buddy. Didn't know John up until just over a year ago. He's also vaccinated. And we did a podcast with James English. And it's the first podcast, I think, that's ever been pulled from YouTube for James English. It's on Rumble. You can find it, but you won't find it on YouTube.
It doesn't shock or surprise me because, you know, we saw reports this morning, for example, and whilst I probably don't believe or agree with every point that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. makes, okay, not just when it comes to this situation, but, you know, you don't agree with anybody about everything. Nobody does.
Yeah.
But to see that Jordan B. Peterson, one of the biggest podcasters in the world, I would say, has had his episode with Robert F. Kennedy pulled from YouTube, it's just mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing because all we're trying to do is we're trying to sit here and have these conversations, and surely adults can listen to you and decide whether or not they want to hear your message. Surely they can decide.
I've never ever told an adult what to do. That's not what I'm here for.
No, you're not the British government.
Do your own research and do what's right for you. And whatever that decision may be, I'm supporting you to my dying death.
Same here, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we tell people that all the time. Don't believe us. We'll give you opinions, but don't believe us. Make up your own mind. Find out for yourself.
I'm not just telling people, don't do this, don't do that. I'm saying, do your own research.
Yeah.
That's it. My only objective ever was just was three things. Well, two originally, but it came three, and I'll never waver from them. I'll not add to them, and I'll not delete them. Proper help and support the main people like me. Stop these things, because there's now clearly a problem. Whatever way you cut it.
Yeah,
I do want to ask you actually, because I know there's been a bit of campaigning between you and John about the reform of the vaccine damage payment scheme. Because I believe you have received the payment from that?
I was the first living man in the UK to get knowledge of the British government.
Yeah.
Received the vaccine damage payment scheme. The first payment for these vaccines was to a chap called Lord Sion. And that's to Vicky. Lord Vicky to bits. He has always been very close to my heart. He was the first person that was acknowledged. The vaccine damage payment scheme to quickly cover some of the numbers. In the last 2 years, there's been over 6,000 people applied to the vaccine damage payment scheme. That's 6,000 people who believe that they are medically now 60% disabled or more, and has been caused by a vaccine. That's the two criteria.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds dead easy. That's causation and probability. So far, there's only been 96 payment awards out of those 6,000. The figures are horrific, and all of those payments are only for AstraZeneca. They're not paid out for anything else.
Is that because they have to, at this point, because they removed AstraZeneca from the market, acknowledge that there was some sort of problem there?
All they'll say is that they'll acknowledge that, and extremely rare cases, this condition can happen.
I mean, my contention would have been, and if I was in a position of so-called trust, and this is just me spitballing here, so if I was in a position that the government was in, and you came along, right, I would turn around and I would say, yes, this has happened. I would say this has happened. I would say it is rare. I mean, when you look at it versus the doses, that is probably still true. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say, yes, it is rare, but it can happen. Whereas what our government did was they basically told you to fuck off, and then they quietly removed it from the market.
Yeah, right. Well, but they have. Well, hold on a minute. They haven't removed it from the market. They renamed it.
So are they still giving it out here?
I don't know. I think it's abroad, but it's still produced.
It's not withdrawn in the UK. It's still on the list.
Yeah,
but it's just not used.
It's just not used.
It's not used. If they take it off the list, they have to give a valid reason as to why. That means that acknowledged by it.
But the other thing is, do you remember the vaccine? Was it the flu vax that caused narcolepsy? Right.
Yeah.
This was what 2016 or 2014, something like that, and there was 16 cases of people that got narcolepsy from that, and they pulled the vax from the market and they paid out those people for vaccine injuries. That was only 16 people. How many people? You said there's over 6,000 identified as having Vitt. Why is it? Why?
No, that's 6,000 people in the UK who believe that they're now. This has been caused by a vaccine, and they're now at least 60% disabled. It could either be Pfizer,
right. Okay. Yeah. But even so, that's still a huge number. It's like, I mean, even if it doesn't matter how many you're delivering, because they pulled a flu vax for 16. Why wouldn't they pull another respiratory vax for 6,000? You know, it doesn't. It beggars belief.
Well, I I was going to say, I think I would imagine that probably ties into the fact that in America, they called it Operation Warp Speed. The fact that they rushed these things to market and used emergency use authorization.
It wasn't rushed. It was thoroughly tested.
Was it?
Well, they called it Operation Warp Speed. Obviously, it was rushed. The one that got me, was the woman that created the AstraZeneca vaccine when she stood there on TV and said, we downloaded the blueprint from China, from Wuhan, and within 3 weeks we had it made. That was just bullshit.
Within 6 hours, apparently.
Yeah, that was bullshit. Bullshit.
You know, back to the whole vaccine damage payment scheme, just to cover that off.
Yeah.
This system is horrific.
Mm-hmm. I don't doubt it.
Right. Now, we'll just use 6,000 claims. The award percentage so far is 1.7%. Now, let's go back, take the last 3 years out of the equation and then go back to the previous 10-year period. There's 810 claims still outstanding from then. These people have been sitting waiting for 13 years.
Yeah.
For a result. Mm-hmm. And historically, the vaccine damage payment scheme has only ever paid out 1.7% of claims. It's not fit for purpose. That's not there to protect the UK citizen.
No.
It's put in place to protect the UK government and the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
Because trying to get through causation legally is practically nigh impossible.
Yeah.
So my question is... Okay.
And that causation was already established because that is solely caused by the AstraZeneca vaccine.
Yeah, and I would say, from what I understand, and you say you've got the document, when they were using this viral vector on Ebola, they knew there was a clotting issue at that point, and yet they still decided to go down that route. Now, I can see why they went down that route in hindsight. Now, looking in hindsight, I would say they went down that route because they already had that delivery system in place. So they were like, okay, well, we've got this. Let's add this to this, and let's see if we can get what we've already got and we know works, delivering, and they did. So they said, right, well, this is what we're going with, and then they pushed it because Operation Warp Speed, as it was called in the United States. So I do think there were things that were overlooked, but obviously I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not in there. But when we go back to, when we go back to the vaccine damage payment scheme, is it a lump sum?
It's a one-off payment. It's not compensation.
No.
And it can affect benefits.
So it can. So they're giving you, right? So you.
Yeah, they give you one hand, take away with the other.
They give one hand, take away with the other, and going from the life of a perfectly fit and healthy scaffolder to the life of having to use wheelchairs and perhaps prosthetics and things like that to completely re-engineer your life. I mean, I look at my home. I've got a walk-in shower room. I've got a stair lift. I've got other adaptations for my needs, and I can still walk with a stick. I can't do long distances, but the adaptations that would be required to not just your life, but your home, that's going to start eating up that money very, very, very quickly, I would imagine.
That money's gone.
Yeah.
All that money did was clear my mortgage. I was days away from losing my house.
Yeah.
Many of us have. People think it's a huge amount of money. But here's the practical thing. I've now got a house that I need truly adapted.
Yes.
Now, I was amputated on, the 11th of April 2021. And around about September, October 2021, I was walking without sticks.
Oh, good.
It was doing incredible. I'd lost over 3.5 stone in weight in hospital, and I put weight on, and these pathetic legs are cut and fit.
Yeah.
If we're trying to stick a size 9 into a size 7, it ain't going to work. Unfortunately, what happens in my case is that it looked like the muscle come off the bone, and the bone get pushed to the area, and was protruding practically out the skin and hitting scar tissue. Yeah. So for 2 years solid, I was in pain 24/7, some form of pain. And we tried everything externally to resolve it, to get me back walking my prosthetic leg. Nothing was working. The only option that was available was to go back under the knife and have 2 inches of bone removed. This is the last gap. There is no other option here. There's no guarantee of success of it working, and obviously the risks were higher because of infections. That was a big decision. I'm not going to lie. I went through the operation on the 30th of May. The reason I didn't tell many people that I was doing it. I didn't actually know what was happening. I knew something was going to happen because I saw the consultant the 22nd of May and explained at that point, I know I'm prepared to do the procedure, but it's your call. And I thought, well, if I go, at least I'll go in my sleep. I don't know anything about it. That's a positive. And if I don't, I'm just going to sit and go water for the rest of my days. And I've never been a water person. So I went for the gamble, and I went through it and got 2 inches of bone removed on the 30th of May. They restructured some of the muscles down. I think they tore my hamstring while they were doing it as well. No, they tore my hamstring because the bruise was incredible. So far, so good. I'm not in the pain that I was 24/7. And if you're living with chronic pain, just to get a respite, yourself what that does.
Yeah.
I'm now at the stage where I'm being discharged from the physiotherapy, and I've got prosthetics in a couple of weeks. And hopefully that's the process of me actually getting back on making my feet as possible.
Yeah.
But you're right, I still need a house that needs adapted.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. And I mean, I'm going to phrase this as directly as possible, but it's a good thing in a way that the money's gone, because now you don't have any physical savings sitting in your bank account. You can approach people like occupational therapy at the very least and say, I mean, one of my friends got a whole bathroom fitted out, even though he's a homeowner, by the council. So hopefully there are services out there that can help you and make it a bit cheaper. And hopefully if anybody's watching this that knows more about that can look into it, feel free to contact us directly so that we can pass it on, or even contact Alex directly on Twitter. It is always worth looking into it and seeing what help you can get out there. I mean, I'm not a homeowner. And luckily we were given this property because it was already adapted for my needs. But you're not in that position. And like you say, people that would abuse you from either side of this debate have, excuse my language, but no fucking clue what a day-to-day life is like for someone that needs adaptations.
Yeah. I think most people have a good heart out there. I'm not going to lie. Most people, when you see, particularly, something that...
When you speak to them face to face, not when they're on Twitter.
No.
Everybody knows who I am. Everybody knows where I am. Mm-hmm. Come and start my door and see what you've got to say.
Yeah. Aye.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, you'll not get that.
One or two attentions. You're going to get come in and have a cup of coffee. Are you going to get some oxygen, son? The ambulance is on its way. Listen, at the end, I think what I've learned is that an arrogant thing, to a certain extent. That's a scaffolding thing.
I think you've got a right to be at this point.
Every scaffolder I've ever met, as you say, every one of them.
No, you can understand why. I mean, anyone that goes up, any kind of height on what are basically hollow steel or aluminium poles has got to have a want about them, don't they? I mean, really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's it, because I love the job. I think it's it. I must be slightly insane as well, so I kind of acknowledge that. But what I do love about them is these guys know that not only can they talk the talk, they can actually walk the walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
you know, you get that respect for each other.
I will just sit here and clap because, quite frankly, everyone here is sort of speaking my language. I'm insane. I've never been right. You kind of have to be to do what we're doing right now, in the way that we're doing it. To be honest,
I've kind of always been. I've realised I've always been quite insane because at a very young age, I decided to be a mod at 17 at the height of the whole punk.
Yeah.
I went to the punk gigs dressed as a mod.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the tipping I took?
My brother was a mod.
What's something I through?
My brother was.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my brothers was a mod, the other one was a biker, and I was a biker. And my brother with a scooter used to have a Parker with a target on the back. And he gave me a lift into the town one day because my bike was in getting a service or something. So here's me, fully dressed, fully kitted out, biker, sitting on the back of a scooter driven by a mod. It just didn't look right at all.
The target should have been on your back at that
Yeah,
point,
probably.
I'm not going to lie. Some of the experiences and stories I've had over the last few years, and the scooter thing, I want to say 82, 83, thereabouts. You turned the corner on your scooter, and there was a motorbike. There was a fight.
Yeah.
It's different now, and I love that. Yeah. I love the banter that's there now. I remember we drove from Glasgow up to a place called Aberfoyle. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours away in a scooter. It's a cracking drive, but it's notorious for lots of bikers going. We pulled into the square, and I'm not going to lie, there must have been maybe 100 odd bikers or sitting in a square, all these bikes. I'm myself, I'm waiting people coming, parked the scooter up, and where is that? One stood and said, fucking Italian shopping toilet. I burst out laughing. I went, you're bang on, you're right, it is a shopping toilet. This is just a curiosity, and he's standing there with a full Power Ranger suit, as I call it.
Nice, yeah.
And into that 900 something, and I said, what's the farthest you've done in that in one trip? And he went, what do you mean? I said, what's the farthest you've done? He said, no. I said, well, has it been like this, Aberfoyle, back down to Sunday? He went, yeah, kind of. I pointed to my scooter. I said, see that? That's 35-year-old. That went to Skye through the night in torrential rain. I drove through Glencoe at 4 o'clock in the morning in torrential rain, a scooter. He did 500 miles, spent a week cruising and drove back again. And you call yourself hardcore? Handed him his hat and went, will you go home?
Yeah, sports bikes, you can't really do touring on a sports bike. Well, once you get above the age of 20-something, because you can't take all that weight in your wrists all the time. That's why you've got to switch to a cruiser. You've got to.
I
I've got no idea what either of them are talking about.
No, it's like I went from Glasgow to Slovenia on my bike, and that's a run, And we were doing 8-9 hours a day sometimes.
You were doing it on Harley as well, weren't you?
Yeah, but that was all right. You just sit back and away you go. But you're not putting all your weight on your wrists. You can't do it on a sport. You can do it on a sport.
I like cars.
It's a nightmare.
I love cars, old cars. Old classic cars, yeah. Jaguar XK120 SS. Yeah, give me that. I'll have one of them, please.
Yeah.
I don't like being home, so any time I can get in my car and drive abroad, I will. I love going away, and I love seeing places, but I wouldn't do it on a bike. I would not do it on a bike.
Oh, that's some wonderful times. Thank you guys, but even now you go, what a legendary stupid things.
Yeah.
I was in a scooter club, and the 55 members at once, something They were one of the larger ones in Glasgow, not the largest. And we all decided we were going to Livingston just outside Glasgow, just before Edinburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Some kind of open day somewhere. And I think 27 of us set off. 6 of us made it. Everybody else walked down.
I can believe that. Can you still go yesterday?
I can't at the moment because obviously I've not been able to wear a prosthetic leg.
Yeah.
I need a prosthetic leg for the scooter. Sadly, the beautiful scooter that's in my profile pic, he's no longer with me. He's gone to a new lover. 2 days after the operation, I thought my scooting days were over, and I sold her.
Yeah, right.
And 2 days after that, I realised I'd done the wrong bloody thing.
Yeah.
I couldn't go back because I'd sold her for what I'd bought her. I bought that scooter and I did a full bare metal restoration, brand new 35-year-old parts, and rebuilt it and sold it for what I paid for it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that to someone, so I thought about it, and one of my dear friends, I'm not going to name him, because I don't know if he's still talking to me. I think he is, I'm not sure. He had two CRs that he bought 15 years, 16 years previously. He'd been lying in a barn, and he stripped them to bare metal. That was his pension fund.
Yeah.
So I phoned him from the hospital, and I emotionally blackmailed. I'm not going to lie. It was horrific. No friend should ever do what I did to him. So he agreed to sell me one of them eventually. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life apologising about this. I then told him, I ain't paying you today's value, I'm paying you what you bought it for all those years ago. And he agreed.
Yeah, that's
after it was sprayed, he rebuilt it for me.
Bloody hell.
Oh, wow.
That's good.
Right. Yeah,
I'm going to have to duck out because it's I've got stuff that's us done about an hour. So do you want to?
Should we start wrapping this up then? Because you're the one recording it.
Yeah.
Can I help?
Yeah. So before we do go, Alex and his friend John are campaigning quite heavily, both online and at rallies and events, for this reformation of the vaccine damage payment scheme, which I personally think is extremely necessary at this point. I mean, look at you. My opinion, they should be supporting you for the rest of your life, because you're going to have this condition for the rest of your life, and you're only having that because, in my opinion, you did not give any informed consent to receive what you received.
I think there's so many areas where it's wrong, so there's no informed consent. You knew about the issue 20 years ago, so therefore, you have to look at the fact that why were they allowed, well, that's the other question, why were they allowed the liability, and why were they allowed to submit data that they didn't even get?
Yeah.
They really didn't get it because the FDA approved the exact same data.
Well, I hope today that we are able to make...
Well, that's the thing. I always say the truth is like a line. I don't even defend it. All I do is set it free.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope that one day that people like us and people like Sonia Poulton and other people that sit in the sphere of people who will actually listen to you and let you tell your story can make enough noise that this can help in some way, even if it's a tiny little cog in the machine that changes this, because it does need to change. It really does.
Yes, I have to say, because I don't want to see any more people like me.
No,
This is what we're seeing. Every time they bring a product out, there's a problem.
Oh, but I think the first place that starts, and I think the first piece of, and the main piece of thing, or I say thing, the main course of action that needs to change when it comes to that is we can never get into a situation where you are essentially a prisoner if you don't do this again.
Yeah.
We can never be allowed to coerce, and I will use the word force, because despite the fact a gun wasn't put to your head, you were told you will not be able to live a normal life in any way, shape or form if you don't do this. That can never be allowed to happen again. Right? You want to bring your products to market, be completely honest about them, and let people choose.
Yeah. Be transparent. That's all you need to be. Tell the bloody truth. Be honest with people.
Yeah, but people are.
I do. Otherwise, why would I be doing what I've done for the last 2.5 years of my life?
I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best in your endeavours. I really do. I think,
Alex,
I think you've been through hell, mate. I really do. And, I've got to give you respect for the way that you've carried on and the upbeat message that you give out, So well done.
I've always said you don't know how strong you are, so it's all you've got.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you've done two things wrong in my eyes. One, you're pissed off a Scotsman. Two, you're pissed off a Scottish scaffolder.
Yeah.
That's helped.
Yeah.
Right. I think John over there can relate.
Yeah.
So, Alex Mitchell, I want to thank you for joining us here on this special pre-recorded episode of Chasing Dissent. If you have watched an edited version of this right now, then go and watch the full version over on Rumble or possibly Twitter. We might put it out directly there.
Yeah. Okay.
Much appreciated. Thank you very much for inviting me on. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was looking forward to having more laughs, but it kind of went.
You know what? It might be that we could do it again. And then we wouldn't have to go through the whole harrowing tale and things, because it's difficult to kind of lift the mood,
Yeah, I wanted to sort of bring the humour bit with you spoke about her yesterday, Miss Mariana Spring.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with, now they looking nervously. And I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way. I can't contain it, I'm coming out with a statement. You really changed, man, all your music and arrangement. You don't know shit, shut your mouth, you can save it. I'm the same dude that got his come up from the basement. 100 songs, 100 weeks, didn't change it. Experiments, development, intelligence, and patience. I'll do it all again, cause I never feel complacent. Let's keep the good vibes, positivity's contagious. I'm never looking back, cause I made a life that's passionate. A college graduate suppressing all his talents, yeah. He found a way to go and change, become an advocate. For taking control of your life, go out and battle. And you think you have a dream, then act on it. Get after it, get out your head and fucking capture it. You got one life to master it. Don't give up on your future, we all start losers. We're all late bloomers, gotta struggle through the sewer. What you say? Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I